Hello, good evening and welcome. So, the weather here today in the UK, it's been raining. And whilst it is cooler than it has been for the past 2 or 3 days, it's gone really humid because we're expecting a thunderstorm. Mind you, it's been threatening a thunderstorm for a couple of days now, so, you know, who knows? Who knows what the weatherman has to say? It keeps changing from day to day, minute to minute. So you never know. We might have a thunderstorm, we might not. Hello there, Alison. Okay, let me just tilt this a little bit more. There we go. Hi there, Carrie. Carrie, I'm not quite sure, so I do apologise. Okay. I'm going to get straight into it after I've had a slurp of my tea, my cup of tea. Now, if you can hear a buzzing in the background, Karen, here I is. Hello there. Hello, Vivian. If you can hear a buzzing in the background, it's because I've got my fan on to set 2. Because I say, it's really warm. Hi there, Becky. Hi, Judy. There's quite a few people coming in. That's lovely. So let me know if you can hear it and it's bothering you, because if it is, I'll turn it down to number 1, but it's on setting number 2, because I say it is a tad warm. Okay, and with no aircon. Oof. Hi there, Pat. Right, we are on to signature number 2. Again, we've got all our envelopes in place. I'm going to take them 2 out because I've actually changed the position of those, but I'll come to that later on. So I've got 1, 2, 3 of my large envelopes, and I don't know even if I've not even stuck the flaps down. Look. Let me just put a little bit of mic pour over the top of that, because otherwise I'm going to close my envelope up completely. So I don't want that bit gluing down. There we go. See, where there's a will, there's a way. Where are you going? We're going to go to there. There we go. I want a tad more on that end. And then I can chop you off. There we go. Yeah, there are some new ones, aren't there, Pat? Lovely to see you. Hi, Kim. Hi, Arta. Okay, so I'm sticking that one down. And I am trimming off the edge of my envelopes. Just a mere fraction. I have to tell you, so my friends have come back off holiday today, so they've been and collected the dog that I've been looking after, and it's Dumbledore's BFF, best friends forever. Well, anyone would think that, like, you know, I chopped his right leg off or something. He's been sulking most of the day today, and in fact, I took him out for a walk earlier, and he saw his friend in his back garden, and so Annie went, "Do you want him to come and stay for a bit?" So I went and played with his BFF for the afternoon. It's like having kids all over again. Right, so I've knocked the camera. Look again. I do apologise. Let me just see if I can tighten up a screw or 2. Okay, that's better, isn't it? I think. Yep, that's definitely better. Right, so I've got my prototype here, and I've written on page number 1. Is that the little hand out the way. I've written on page Dumbledore. I'm trying to read what Kim wrote and talk about this at the same time. She put, oh, Dumbledore has a play date. Yeah. Sorry, not a lot I can do about that. It's probably atmospheric conditions, just saying that it's buffering. So yeah, because the weather's so yeah, it might be that. Okay, so my prototype, I've written that it's the Lady Rose stroke Enchanted Caroline, because although I'm recreating the Lady Rose journal, I'm actually using the Enchanted Caroline kit. Both of them are by Artie Mays. Lady Rose is on the Ko-fi shop, Enchanted Caroline is in her Etsy shop. This is signature number 2 I'm working on, and if I refer back to the original video of Lady Rose, the second signature starts at 15 minutes. So this is page number 1, and originally and it's my background paper for the size of my envelopes that I'm doing is 6 1/8 by 8 3/4. All right. So page number 1. The original had a secret heart page. Now there's no hearts in the Enchanted Caroline kit, so I'm obviously going to be doing something different, but it is the same principle. So for those of you that are using the Lady Rose kit, refer back to the original video, but it's the same technique as I'm going to be using now. All right. So first of all, I want to put my background paper on, which I have cut out and inked up and prepared already. In fact, I'm just going to take that first envelope out and take the rest of them off to the side, because then it'll be flatter. So that's going to go on there. Make sure I'm in frame, because I think this keeps tilting a little. Let's try that, because you shouldn't see much of what's up there. But it obviously has its own ideas. So yeah, so I've just taken him out for his walk now, and he's gone straight to Alfie's house as if, excuse me mate, are you here? I'm missing you. So I was like, come on. So all through the walk he kept looking over at Alfie's house, like, are you there mate? Are you there? Are you alright? They're so funny, your animals, aren't they? Real characters. Okay, so that's my background page in place, and I've left a tiny bit of a border, just the same as I've done on the first signature. And I matched up my colour with the papers that I'm going to be using. So I am going to be using this page. This is tilted again, I think. Stay there, please. Stay there. Right, I'm going to be using this page, and you need 3 pages. Alright. So I want one to cut out as a background, one to cut out as the secret journaling spot, and one I only want to cut out that little bit so that it acts as, if I can get my teeth in gear, it acts as a little tuck spot. Okay, so I'm going to cut this out first as my background page on top of the background paper. There is a difference between the two, so let me just find the halfway mark. So I'm just going to dinky do that there. Cut it on the white side, because I can see where that little dink is. Can't see it on the coloured side. So there we go. Right, so I don't want that bit, but I want that bit. I'm just going to ink up the edges, just to take off. There's a white edge here from the paper. But I'm not going to stick this in place just yet. Because I need to use a magnet. But at least it's all ready. Okay, so that's going to be stuck on there once I've attached my magnet. Next piece, scissors. So I'm going to cut out this section down here, the corner section, and I made sure that I print 3 pages off all at the same time, so I know that they're all the same size. Hi there, Noella. Noella? I think that's how that one's pronounced. I'm terrible at people's names. Can't pronounce them to save my life. Okay, so I'm just going to very randomly just fussy cut around that flower. And it doesn't matter about being precise or anything like that, because it's meant to blend in with the background paper. And then I'm going to chop that little bit off. And I'm not going to ink it up around this part, but I am going to ink it up here and here, because I want it to blend in. If I ink it up, it won't blend in. It'll stand out as something different. And we want it to be a secret. Okay, so I'm just going to ink up that edge there and there. And that, see, it's fallen again, hasn't it? Right, just bear with a minute, because I think I know which one that's coming undone. I think it's that one back there. There we go. Right, try again. Try again. So that is going to be sitting on top of there, but I'll do that again in a minute. So I've got all that to play with. So next I want to make the secret journaling spot, and I'm going to cut out this arch. Can you see that arch on the pattern there? And obviously a little bit of the leaves, and obviously the cupid bit, but I want to cut down this section here, so it'll go around there and then come across through that rose down there, so that I've got that corner. Alright, so then that will tuck inside that bit there. But before I do that, I want to glue, and I'm using avocado dyed paper on the back. So let me just take off some of this white edge. And I can see what it is that I'm doing. Move you to the side so everyone can see what it is that I'm doing. Okay, I'm just going to fold that in half for a minute. Find the centre. Ish. Just trim that bit off. Oh, missed a bit. Okay, don't want you. But I want you. So I'm going to glue all over the back of this and then adhere it to the avocado dyed paper, so that when I cut the shape out, then I'm cutting both pieces at the same time, so they'll be the same size. Right, so I'm just going to roughly draw on this with my pencil so I can see where it is that I'm thinking of cutting it. So I'm thinking this archway up here. And I want to go beyond that rose because I want the rose to sit on top, and then I'm going to cut it off there. And then I've got this bit of the leaf showing here, so I'm going to cut it up there and then cut across there. So I might cut out that leaf. There. Alright, so I know roughly now where I'm cutting. Let me just cut this excess off, because it'll only get in the way, won't it? So I don't want you, you can go over there. Alright, so I'm going to cut across there. And then I'm going to cut round that oval. So basically you need to look at your papers and just think to yourself, okay, what shape can I cut out of that paper that it will make it a standalone piece? So then I can, oh no, what I forgot to do. Then I can sit it on my page. In my haste, I forgot to add my magnet. Pat, I love that I have no idea what she's doing, and then voila, it's something easy and beautiful. Okay, bit of a pointy bit there, so let's just chop that bit off. So yeah, so it was easy with the heart one because obviously there was just a simple heart shape to cut out, and I'm cutting a little bit more off these two straight edges at the bottom because obviously they're going to sit inside of a pocket, so I may need to cut a little bit more than that off, because you know, by the time I've glued that pocket down, that'll be that space taken up. So can you see I've got now a standalone shape? What am I going to do? I am going to have my magnet up here on the back side. I would normally have stuck it between the two layers of paper, except I'm a numpty and I forgot to do that. Oh, I know what else I've forgotten as well that's downstairs. Is my magic tape. And I kept saying to myself all afternoon, don't forget that magic tape, Coral, don't forget that magic tape. And what did I go and do? Forgot it. Okay, let's just see if I can peel that off, or if I've stuck it down. No, I'm not even going to bother. So I'm going to put my magnet up there. And what I might do is, because as I say, I'm a bit of a numpty. Just turn that over so I've got double thickness, because otherwise it'll get stuck in my punch. There we go. So I want my glossy accents with the stuffed up nozzle that I hate. One of these days this nozzle's going to split. hope that that is sufficient. Before anyone says, have you tried sticking one of them pins in it? Yeah, I've done all of that. I've had big bottles previously, loads of big bottles, and I decided to just get a small one because it dries up too quick. You are just going to be a nuisance, aren't you? Because you know I'm doing a live. I can see there's some stuck in the nozzle. Normally this does the trick, but it doesn't seem to want to play. Oh, it did play. All of a sudden. A bit too much. Let's take some of that off. There we go. So I'm going to put my magnet on there. Now at the moment I'm not bothered whether that is north, south, east or west. North and south. Alright, and then I'm going to stick a piece of that on top. Because as I say, normally I would have glued it between the two layers, but I forgot. Right, celebrity, whilst I hold on to that a sec. Looks like a big balloon, doesn't it? I am definitely going to have to see about having a look at this once I get off camera. Sorry about this, guys. It's only just started doing this, so some of the tension springs must be slacking. Okay. Bring my page back. So that will sit on there like that. So I want another magnet, and again I'm not inking this up because I don't want anyone to know that you can actually take it apart. And then I'm going to carefully pick that up, and I'm just going to let the other magnet flop to where it needs to go. And then I can put some micropore over the top to hold that in place. And then I need to stick this pocket on. I can see I need to take a bit more off the bottom because otherwise that's just going to catch in my glue. Okay, and that pocket is going to sit down there like so. That will sit there like that. Okay, so let's put some glue on the back. So I want it just down the two sides, or should I say down the side and down the bottom. Make sure that's in the right place. So then bear with. make sure I've got it in the right spot. There we go. Got a little bit of overhang there. Let's just trim that off. So what should happen is that should be held in place by that magnet. So I can pick up that magnet, pull that out, and I've got this journaling spot to write on the back. It slipped again onto. This is so going to annoy me. There's nothing else to tighten up. I do apologise, everyone. I've done it up as tight as it will go. Right, and then once I've finished writing on the back of that, I can then slot that back in there. And the magnet should hold that in place. So now I can glue this down. So that's what I say, you need to look at the images on each page of your digital kit and just say to yourself, yeah, I could cut that section out and I could tuck it underneath that corner flower and no one would be any the wiser that there was a journaling spot there. So, looking at that now, can you tell? I can see there's a little bit of shadowing down there, but I'm alright with that. Because, you know, at the end of the day, we're not going to achieve perfection, are we? You know? But if I bring it up close, okay? So as I say, I can just pick that off up there and pull that out. Slot it back in, let the magnet do its thing, and it'll just put it into place. It's only paper, correct, Pat? You're quoting my own sayings that way. It's only paper at the end of the day. Right, so that's page number 1 done. So let's tick that off the list. So that's that one done. Page number 2. Now on the original, I just did a basic rectangle, stuck it on, pocket. Yeah? And I thought to myself, come on Carol, we've moved on a bit since then. So let's do something a little bit fancier. So if you want to do a straightforward rectangular pocket and stick it on, that's fine. You can do that. You know, at the end of the day, it's your journal. So you do you, as Mr. Tim always says. So, right, gosh. There we go. Page number 2. Now I wouldn't normally do this amount of prep work, nor this amount of prep work if I was making a journal. I'm doing it for you guys so that you can find it easier to follow. So page number 2, I'm doing this pocket. This is going to be my background paper. So I've already cut that out and inked that up, so I'm going to stick that one in place. What's that, Pat? I hear your voice in my head when I'm crafting. and sometimes even when I'm not. Pat, that's quite sad. That's quite sad to admit that. Can I tell you, I hear my own voice as well. My granddaughter came to visit at the beginning of the week. She came to stay with me for a few days to help me look after Alfie so I could get on with some work. And, or Alfie and Dumbledore, I should say. And I was saying to her about earworms and how I had been singing the same song. And in fact, not just the same song, the same line, the same lyric in my head for about 3 days. I was like, oh, I'll be glad to get a new one. Do any of you guys have that? Where you just keep singing the same tune in your head all the time? In fact, I don't even want to think about it. Let's not think about it, because otherwise it'll start again. Right, so I have chosen a digital kit to print out. A digital page, I should say. But you can use your paper pads if you so wish. So I've printed on both sides. And what I've tried to do is I've had a look at, so that'll be my next page. I've tried to have a look at what I was putting on here, and I've tried to match up some papers to kind of blend with it. This is not an Artie Maze page, but this one is. Alright, so I'm going to trim off the excess and I'm going to cut a 6-inch square. That's what I want. So it needs to be double-sided. You can use your double-sided 6x6 paper pads. You can use your double-sided 12x12 paper pads and chop it down to 6 inches. Let's just hope I got the measurement right and that it was 6 inches, because if not, we're scuppered. But I can show you the example, at least, if I get it wrong. And then we can rectify it. Okay, so I want this corner down here because it's the most patterned bit. You also want a sort of non-directional pattern as well, because of the way in which we're going to fold it. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So I want this bottom corner down here. So I want to measure 6 inches. So I've just gone and trimmed that edge off for no reason whatsoever, because I'm going to cut it down anyway. So 6 inches that way. Put that in my scraps bag. And 6 inches this way. Please be 6 inches. Please tell me I got the measurement right. So I've got, that's going to be on the back, that's on the front. So I'm going to ink my edges up. What do you mean let the nap begin, Cindy? You haven't come here to nap. That's not square. Let me just check that, because it's only going to work if it's square. That looks skew-iffy to me. Right, so that's square. That's all square. Maybe it's my eyes. Maybe my eyes have gone wobbly. Yeah, you see that edge is just slightly off. Please be sharp enough, blade. The merest of fractions. Okay, let's just try that edge. Yeah, that edge is slightly off. I knew you'd catch. Yeah, sorry to the newbies. Skew-iffy is one of my favourite words for it not being quite right, you know, and being a bit out of skew-iffy. Is that better? I have to clean that channel out now. That's better. Love a bit of skew-iffy. Okay, and with my rule, I want to find the centre point. Now, I'm not going to draw a diagonal line right the way across. I only want to find the centre point, which is going to be around about there. And I'll do the same the other way. I'm going to have to chop that bit down. So from there to there, from there to there. There. So that's my centre point there. Let me just neaten this paper up because my blade. And there as well. Alright, so I want that corner visible, so you're going to be folded into the centre point there. And you're going to be folded into that centre point there. So it'll be like that. Okay, let's ink. Inky rinky dinky doo. And that's it. This is going to be my pocket for this page. Bit more interesting than just a plain rectangle, I thought. And don't forget, we're not dressing any of these pages just yet. We're getting the basics down and then dressing them up later once we've stitched the signatures in place. So I can dress this up later on, but I will tell you what I'm going to do with this one. I want my magnets out again. Let's have you. You're slightly smaller. Just see how strong they are. Yeah, strong enough. Alright, got bits of glue now stuck. Right, so this is going to sit on my page like this. I'm going to put a magnet underneath this corner point here. I'm just going to use my tape to hold it down. And that's because I'm going to go through all my leftover papers once I'm done. I want it that way up. Yeah, we'll have it that way up. We'll have it that way up. I want to go through all my leftover papers once I'm done. To use them up, I want to look for an image that I can cut out that I can put on top here to keep these points held down. And I will stick the image to this point and put a magnet on the other side, on the back side of the image, over this side, so that I can lift up the image so it pulls these back. I can add a little belly band across there, so then I can stick some journaling cards inside, and then I can put that down, get my image to pull this corner down, and the magnet will hold those then in place. Does that make sense for everybody? Well, if you've fallen asleep, Cindy, you will have missed me inking. It's all about the secret spots. Okay, so this now is going to sit on there. And I'm just going to glue on the back side down there and down there, because then I can put something behind. I'm sorry about this phone keep tilting. So then I can put something down behind this point up here. But I think that that looks far nicer than just having a straightforward rectangular pocket at the bottom. All right, so glue. So it becomes another little secret spot. We can put a large tag behind there, or some writing paper behind there. So that will then sit. So yes, I was right, it was a 6-inch square. So that's going to sit there like that. And it's only glued there and there. In fact, have I got my sample to show you? Yeah, it's in that book. Just bear with me. So I've been making a book. Oh, I've ripped it. Oh, heck, can't have that. And this is going to be a book of different pockets, all sorts of different pockets in here. And that was the pocket that I just based this one on. And as you can see, I've got this floral, it was a Tim Holtz floral bucket, or bouquet, there. And that's why I thought if I put the magnet over this side on the back of those flowers, or whatever I decide to use, then when it closes, so it'll be stuck to this side, and then the magnet will pull and hold down that side. Okay. Need to take better care of that journal. Okay, so page number 2. Done. Page number 3. So I'm just going to bring my other envelopes back in. So now I've got page number 3 to hand. It's page number 3. Oh, this blooming phone. Blooming phone. Stay. This one is meant to be a gusset pocket. And again, it's just a straightforward rectangle with a little concertina side and a concertina bottom to make it gusseted, so that it stands out a little bit, so you can put plenty in. Again, didn't want to do that, wanted to do something a little bit different again. So these are the papers I'm using. So I'm going to put my background page on first, which is that one. So let's stick that in place. In fact, I'll move this page out of the way for a minute. And I'll move that middle envelope out of the way for a minute. And I'm going to glue this one down. So this is my background paper. And the reason why I've done background papers is because the actual digital kit itself, when I printed it out, is too small for the size of my envelopes, and I needed a background paper to fill in sort of the blank space somewhat. Extra printing. Do you know what I've not done? I've not glued down the flap or cut off the edge. So let's do that next. Okay, glue down this flap. Try not to get glue on that bit again, Carol. Okay, will do. See, talking to myself now. I'm going to put glue across there. I'm talking to myself anyway, what am I on about? Oh dear. and then I'm going to trim that edge off. And I'm going to trim that edge off. And again, I'm not going to be able to finish this page because I've left that blooming magic tape downstairs. Ooh, I'm mad at myself for that. Mad. Mad, mad, mad. Right. So these were 2 pockets that were in the kit. Do you know what? Let's just do that. It's still slipping down, isn't it? Fiddle-a-diddle-a-dee. Right, so these were 2 pockets that were in the kit, but I don't want them open. I want to put some papers on the back to close them up. Come to that in a minute. So I'm going to plonk one down there and one up there. And I want this one to be static, but this one I want to flip. And to hold the flip in place, this needs to be static, so then I can put a tag inside of this pocket so that it sits over the top of this pocket to hold it in place. Does that make sense? Gordon Bennett, I hope it does. Okay, so circle punch. In fact, I think I might have that one at the top, that one at the bottom. Yeah, we'll do it that way around. Don't want to punch that one out yet. I'll wait for that minute. Right, so this one, it can be stuck down as it is. I don't need to do anything fancy on the back of this one. So, oh, let's ink it up first. Nearly forgot. And again, I can decorate this up to my heart's content once I've got my signature in place. I can dress it up and make it look fancy. Right, so glue on the back. Oh, by the way, ladies, whilst I think on, because you know what my memory's like, I am bound to forget. So for those of you that signed up for the membership, your July membership payments are starting to come through. So it is automatic, because as I say, I'm new to this membership malarkey. But yeah, it's starting to come through. Some of the payments have already started. So if you check your bank or PayPal details and you see a payment that's gone out and you're a bit like, oh, what's that? It's for your membership. Okay, so I'm going to stick that on there. And next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, I will show you the digital kits and the projects you can make with them for July. I will show them on Wednesday. Okay, so this one, I'm going to use this to back this, but we don't just want to back it, do we? No. Oh no. So what I'm going to do is just cut off this white edge a minute. Let me just check something. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Johnny caught a flea. Put it in his pocket and he had it for his tea. I said that one on Friday, didn't I? See, I'm becoming boring now. I'm just repeating myself. I haven't totally figured this one out yet. Yeah, it's just called, it's 3M is the brand, and it's just called Magic Tape. You can get it on Amazon. Alright, so let me just check on the height. So I want it fractionally smaller, just ever so slightly fractional. So I want to cut it about there. So I'm going to cut it with my paper trimmer. Helen's just put, you did, Carol, but it's still fun. Can move my blade up there so I can see if I'm putting this in the right place. Okay, I want to move it across a tad. There. Make sure I'm butch. So, do. Make sure I'm all nicely lined up. Go for it. Whee! There we go. Quite sad, Carol, quite sad. Well, you never know, Helen. Someone might not have heard that little ditty before and be like, ooh, I'm going to remember that. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to stick this on the back to close the pocket up. But I also want to concertina it. Oh, it's going to have to go that way up because of the crown. So yeah, I'm going to stick that on the back and then I'm going to concertina. Let's do that. So, stick my glue on my flaps. Like so, and then we're going to sit that down on top of there. Okay, and then I'm going to concertina it, or as you ladies say over the pond, accordion fold. Right, so I've got this little overhang piece now, so I could just fold that in. Don't want to do that, don't want to chop it off, or do I want to fold it in that way and then I've got a secret little pocket? Let's fold it in. Right, so I'm going to fold it that way first so I can see that I'm doing it to the right size. Then I'm going to fold it the other way because now I know it's the right size. And then I'm going to put some glue on the back there. Some glue on the back there. Fold it over. Secret pocket. Love a secret pocket. Okay. Oh, I've got glue where I shouldn't have got glue. So, that now... Oh, I haven't thought about this bit. Gluing it in place. So how's that going to work, Carol? Oh yeah, that's right. My tape. So basically I'm putting some tape down that edge there. So I'm just going to use my micropore for now which is what I used to use before I found the magic tape. I had to think then, how am I gluing that in place? So that's going to stay like that, and like that, and like that. Right, so this is temporary fix, and then that will flip open like that, and then some more magic tape. Once I bring it upstairs, we'll go on the back to make the hinge. Alright, so have I got a tag to hand? No. Have I got a scrap bit of paper to hand? No. Let's just chop a bit off you. So what will happen is the tag, which will obviously need to be bigger than this, will sit in that pocket, which will keep that closed. Right, and then you'll remove that, and then this, you've got the pocket at the top there. Once we punched our little thumb hole in there, and then that will open up like that, and then that will flip over like that, and then that will flip over like that, and you've got a secret little pocket in there. Right, so that's that. So we're going to call that one done. And I've got the pin in me doofers. Anyone got any questions on that one? Or are you all fine? Okay, let's just put the pages back together so I know what's what. Okay, and one's done, 2 is done, 3 is done. Let's go on to number 4. Hidden journal spot, tall top opening, pocket. Okay, so we've done that one, we've done that one, we've done that one. We are now moving on to that one. So again, I'm just going to remove that page out the way, this middle one out the way, because I'm working on that. And I've chosen these papers. So this is going to be my background. So that's going to sit on there. You can tell, look, I pre-printed this on something else and the ink ran out. I was like, I'm blowed if I'm throwing that away. I'll use the other side. Yes. Thought I'd done it wrong then. Thought I'd got ahead of myself. Okay. And that is going to go on there. Right, so for this one I need 2 pages the same, and I'm using this image here. So on the original Lady Caroline, so I've got it right way around this time, Pat. Lady Caroline, what I did was there was like a picture frame, a rectangular picture frame, and I cut the top part of the picture frame away so that you took something behind it and you didn't know it was there because it just looked like part of the picture frame. So I've chosen this one because obviously there's a nice rectangle across there. So I'm going to cut this out, and this will be the background page. So that's the background paper. This is the background page. we just fold it in half. Oh, can't do that because I've got a white border there. Just cut off the white borders, Carol. Let's do a play. And then you'll know what's what. It is cute owl, isn't it? Alright, so you know that that first secret pocket that I did actually contemplate using that design and then having that as the little tuck pocket and then cutting around that shape to tuck inside. So I did contemplate using that one, but chose not to in the end. Okay, let's fold it in half to find the centre point. And I'm just going to trim off just a fraction of an edge off that fold. And that's the piece of paper I want. Magic tape, Carol. Magic tape, you need it. Right, I'm going to have to do it with my micropore. Again. Look, I put my micropore down somewhere now, can't find it. Oh, it's there. So I want to cut a slit across where that part of the pattern is, right? And to do that, I'm going to have to put some tape on the back just to support it so that it won't rip. So how am I going to do that? So I'm going to hold it up to the light. Blinded by the light, and I can see it's up there and there. Right, so I want my tape across there. And your window is a great window box. Light box. Not window box, light box. Right, so that tape on the back there will just help to support this next part that I'm going to do. Hey up. Hey up. Who's nicked me bit of board? It's gone walkabout. Okay, I'm just going to have to use this paper instead. So I'm going to turn it over. No, I'm not. I'm going to do it on that side. And I want my craft knife. And I want this is a metal edged rule. So I don't want to cut across the whole thing. I want to cut it so I've got at least ½ an inch-ish at each end. I'm going to line that up and I'm going to cut that slit out there all the way across to about there. Right, just try my other knife. Oh, I've just broken it. Blinded by the light is your earworm, is it, Helen? There we go. Alright, so we've now got this slot. Alright, next. So I want to keep this bit intact. And then I'm just going to cut down slightly inside of where I did that slot. Okay, so again, I'm going to just cut out the whole piece for now. Alright, find the halfway point again. Just trim off a little excess off that fold. Alright, so I've got these two pieces now. This one has got a slot in, this one hasn't. But I want to cut across the bottom edge of this straight line here, just beyond where I cut the slot. So in fact, I could place that on top, and I could just insert my pencil up to the edge of that slot up there and there, because I want it narrower so that it will fit in. Okay, so I can see, look, my pencil marks there, my pencil marks there, so I'm well within the boundaries of that. And then I'm going to chop this excess off here and off here. So where did I do to? Let me do it to there. Put it down that end, Carol. And I'm doing it there. So I don't want to cut beyond. We'll do the main part like that, and I'll chop that last little bit with my scissors, and then I know that I'm about right. So can you see, look, and then I can just chop up there with my scissors, and I'm not chopping beyond that point, because it'd be just my luck that the blade would run away with me. And I'd cut into the bit that I don't want to. Right, so again, I want to do it to there. Again, I'm going to do it from the bottom and go the majority of the way up, but not all the way up. I'm just going to chop this bottom bit off here. Alright, so I could now glue this to a piece of card to make it sturdier, and then I could add some coffee dyed paper or some lined paper on the back, because that will then form like a little notepad. Okay. So let me just stick this in place. I think I might have to just paper clip you down, otherwise you're going to keep flopping everywhere. Now, I only want to place glue all over this top bit, and then down the edge here, across the bottom and up the side. Need to inky rinky dinky do before I glue. Right, so glue across the top bit. Because we want that to stay in place. and then glue just down this edge down here, across the bottom and up the sides. So this area here is devoid of glue. Devoid, look at me, big word for me that. And then I can stick that one in place. I'll have to move that paper clip a minute. And then this, you could even chop that off and just have that bit and then glue some papers to the back, right? But it's to give you the idea of how this works. So then this then will slot inside of there. As I say, you may need to cut some off the bottom, and then that will sit like that. And again, no one would be any the wiser that you've actually got, ta-da, that inside of it. Right, so it could be, as I say, just plain coffee dyed paper that you've glued to it, but it's another secret little journal spot that you've got there. Right, any questions on that one? Again, just whilst I have a slurp of tea. I'm just going to put my signatures back together just in case there are any questions. I'm going to put some glue on this flap here. It's the one thing I forgot to do. And trim that bit off. Right, so that's going to be there. That's going to go there. Now I'm going to have to clip you in place for the time being, mister, because you're going to do me fruiting otherwise. And that's going to go there. So another hidden journal spot done. No questions. Carol, why do you use two different glues? Okay, so art glitter glue, expensive stuff. Collal, cheaper than art glitter glue. And also, when I'm putting the collal glue on the back of, say, a big sheet, so, you know, like when I've stuck these background papers on, I'm going to use a lot of glue. And I don't want to use me more expensive one, I'll use the cheaper one. Plus, with the collal glue, I've got a little bit of time for manoeuvrability to get it into the right spot. With the art glitter glue, it's a case of once it's in place, it's very difficult to just budge it round just a touch to get it into the right place. So this one I can have some movement, this one I can't. So that's why I use the two different glues. Alright, does that make sense, Anne? So yeah, so I buy a big, massive bottle of the collal, and I just top up my little bottles to utilise. Okay, so that's that, that's that, that's that. Alright, now then, if I have a look at my prototype, I've got a long flip out here, and then I've got a piece of vellum. Now I haven't decided yet which piece of vellum I'm going to use, because as you know from the first signature, I liked the framed vellum. I really liked that idea, and because I wasn't entirely sure of what colours or how they were all going to sort of blend together, I thought that's going to affect what vellum I use, whether it's a printed vellum, whether I create another framed vellum, or whether I even turn the vellum on its side and do an elongated pocket. But if I do, I'll show you that in the next video. So yeah, I wasn't just quite sure what vellum I wanted to use, so I'm going to leave that out for now. So I'm just going to show you this long flip out, which again in the Lady Caroline journal there is this long flip out. Right, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to call it a night, and we will start on the vellum and page 7 next time, which will be next Friday. So I've chosen these two papers. Now these were Artie Maze's and these were freebies, but I thought that the colours went really nicely with this page here. And what I want to do is I want to join these two pages together. So I'm just going to move all my envelopes out the road. And I think, there's me bit of board. I'm going to rip the edge, I think. Yeah. Okay, and again, because this has got that metal edge in, it actually gives me a nice ripped edge. Really sort of rough and rustic. But I'm going to cut the top and the bottom straight, so that will be glued on there. But I'm going to cut the top and bottom off, just the one for now. We'll see where we go from there. Right, so that's going to go there. Oh, that was skewiffy, Carol. Oh, we've had another skewiffy moment. Let me just chop that bit off, and then I'll see how skewiffy I actually am. And then I'm going to chop this end off. Nope, that's right. That's right. And I'm just going to lay that on there. So in fact, if I chop that bottom one off first. Now I did cut that skewiffy. There we go. And I just want to mark that top edge. Just line those two bottom edges up. So I know they're the same height. What's my pencil mark? It's there. and chop that edge off. No, don't chop that edge off, Carol, because you're going to be gluing on top of that. Okay, let's glue them in place first. So that's going to sit on top of there, like that. So I'm going to put. So I'll show you, Anne, how slippy slidey this is. Right. So if I put that on there, you see I've still got movement. Whereas if I use that, the art glitter glue, it would be a case of, I'm down, I'm staying, I'm not going anywhere. Right, okay. Right, now I'm going to fold these in half. I need to just let that glue go off a little. So whilst I'm doing that, or whilst that is doing that, I'm just going to have a swig of my tea. And then I'm going to fold them in half. See, it's still moving about a bit now. Come on, stay in place, please. Right, so this bit here is going to go in the centre bit here. Ladies, can I just ask a favour? Can you change the subject, please? Because not everybody is religious, me being one of them. I'm not trying to be rude, but politics and religion are a different kettle of fish for everybody. So it's best not to utilise them at all. Right, so that's going to go in there. Hope you understand. That's going to go in there, and then that will go in there. So as you can see, way too big for my page, but then I'm going to fold that edge over towards the centre, but not quite. So then that now becomes a flip out. Right, and the same on the other side. That is going to fold over to there. And that now becomes a flip out. Okay. If you want to, you could just cut 2 long strips and stick them back to back. I'm going to leave them like this because now I've got a pocket here and I've got, come on, a pocket there. So I'd end up with 4 pockets, and then I could add extra pockets on each one of those flips and folds. Alright, so that would need inking up, and only once I've got it in place would I then stick those 2 edges down, because if I stick them down beforehand, the folds, because one side, this is a longer journey for the paper to fold than that. That is a shorter journey for the paper to fold. That's a longer journey for the paper to fold. And so if I glued this end down before I'd done the folds, it would all ruckle up and be a little bit odd. Alright, so I would do all of that first, and then make your decision whether you want to glue the two pieces of paper together, whether you want to put some glue down the edge and make them into individual pockets, because then what you could do is you could do some stitching around each of the sections going around 3 sides, so you've made individual pockets. Okay, so that's the long flip out. Where's my little book? So that's my long flip out done, and then I can then go on to choose my vellum once I know what's going to go onto this page here. Right, so at the moment the colours are kind of all blending nicely together, but if I choose something very different for over here, I might have to change my thought process on what vellum I'm going to use. So, quick recap. Tidy my desk up a little so that you can see what's what. Got glue on my fingers, lovely. Alright, so second signature, page number 1, we've got this secret little magnetised writing space which tucks inside that little pocket there, and then the magnet will draw the paper to where it needs to go. Page number 2, we've got this flippy floppy 6-inch pocket here, which, as I say, I'm going to add something on there and magnetise it on this left hand side, so it'll stick to this magnet on the back here and become sort of the closure. But it's also then, where's my little scrappy bit of paper? It's also a little secret tuck spot behind there, and once this opens up I could add a little belly band on there, so then I could put some journaling cards inside of that. On this one there's going to be a long tag in there to kind of cover that up, but it's to hold it closed. So then this then will swing open and swing again and swing again, and then we've got this little secret pocket here on the back. So that's that. Paper clip you in place, because no, we'll do your paper clip in a minute. And then next page, now look, see, flopping over. Next page we've got this secret journaling spot where this pulls out of here, and as I say, I could cut that off and I could add some journaling papers on the back, but it would need to be this width to be able to fit into that slot, and then put some card on the back of that to make that sturdy, so then that can then slot back inside of that pocket. But obviously you can't put too many papers on because it will make it too bulky and then it won't sit flat. And then we've got this elongated sort of pockety flippy outy bit here, and then when we flip it over it does the same on the other side. Okay, there we go. So lots to be sort of looking at, making some notes on. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments beneath the video. I won't get to them tonight because it is now 8:30 at night here and I haven't eaten yet, so I need to go and eat. So it will probably be tomorrow if you leave any questions, so please don't panic and think I'm ignoring you. But with the time difference it can be a bit of a pain in the backside, I do realise. What's for dinner? I'm either having steak, chips and mushrooms, or I'm having steak, new potatoes and vegetables. There you go. What is my purpose in life? If you've enjoyed the video, if you're new here, thank you ever so much for joining us. I hope that you have enjoyed watching me craft along, and you've got a few hints and tips of some new ideas for you. If you would like to subscribe, that would be lovely. If you could give me a thumbs up, that would be even great. And if you could leave me a comment, that would be even better, because then the algorithm on YouTube thinks, ooh, people are liking that. We'll have to go and show that to other people. So it helps me out a lot if you can do that. If you decide not to use any of these ideas in this journal, as I say, make a note, save the video to your own playlist, and maybe use them in another journal that you might make at another time. I've made a playlist up for these videos so that they're all grouped together, so that for those that are doing the project, you know, then you can always just go back to the playlist, right? And as I say, on Wednesday I will be showing the new membership digital kits. If you would like to join the membership, that's on my Ko-fi shop. The link is in the description box down below. And we will do some more pages on this next Friday. So if you haven't been here before, I tend to do lives at the moment because that just suits me for lots of different reasons, on Wednesdays, Fridays and Sundays, 7 o'clock UK time. So it is now 8:30. So if you have a look at your clock wherever you may live, and an hour and a half previous is the time that I then start, okay? The meaning of life is 42. God knows what you lot were chatting about tonight. But anyway, there you go. Right, guys, I'm going to go and shoot off for my steak dinner. Thank you for joining me. See you all again soon. Au revoir, arrivederci, auf Wiedersehen, adios amigos. See you later, guys. Take care. Bye. Bye.